The night was quiet in the hills outside the city. Bren's mansion stood like a giant machine carved into the mountain glass walls, metal frames and glowing blue lights on every edge. Inside, most of the house was asleep. The robots had powered down, the staff had left. Even the air was still, but Bren was awake. He sat in his private study on the top floor. He wasn't reading or working. He stared at a wall of floating screens. They showed every part of the mansion, from the main hall to the kitchen, the garage, and even the gardens. One screen caught his eye. It showed the lower level, near the supply room. Someone was there. A small figure, sitting on the floor, surrounded by strange lights. Bren frowned. "Who's that?" He zoomed in. It was Lena, the youngest maid in his staff. A quiet girl, barely 20, who kept to herself. She had only been working at the mansion for 6 months. She cleaned quietly, spoke rarely, and never caused trouble. But now, at 2:13 in the morning, she was doing something strange. She sat on the floor with her back to a wall. Her uniform was folded beside her, and she wore a simple gray shirt. In front of her was an old holopad one Bren had discarded last year. Its screen glowed with strange symbols. Lines, spirals, dots, equations. None of them looked like Earth math. Bren leaned forward. The girl wasn't just watching something. She was writing. Her fingers moved quickly over the screen. She drew shapes, erased them, then drew again. Her face was calm, focused, like she understood everything. Bren opened the microphone. "Lena," he said, gently. The girl jumped. The holopad blinked and powered down. She grabbed it and looked up at the small camera in the ceiling. I'm sorry, sir," she said. "I was just come to my study, now." The camera light turned off. 10 minutes later, Lena stood outside Bren's study, holding the old holopad in her hands. Her hair was tied back. Her eyes looked down, not in fear, but in respect. Bren waved her in. She stepped inside. He didn't shout. He didn't scold. Instead, he pointed to a chair. "Sit." Lena sat. Bren looked at her carefully. "What were you doing down there? And why are you using a restricted holopad?" Lena held it out. "I found it in the recycle bin." It still worked. "I didn't mean to break any rules." "You didn't break rules. You surprised me." He took the device from her and turned it on. The screen came alive, and the strange symbols appeared again. He stared at them. "Do you know what this is?" he asked. Lena nodded. "I think it's called star logic." Bren raised an eyebrow. "Where did you hear that term?" "I didn't. I named it that. I noticed the same patterns in the data chips you throw away. They repeat, but only in certain time gaps. When I started drawing the patterns, they turned into equations. You solved them?" "I tried. They changed depending on where I placed the numbers, like ... a living puzzle." Bren stood up and walked to his glass wall. He looked out at the stars above the hills. "I bought this house to get away from people," he said, "to work in peace. I didn't expect to find someone down in the supply room solving alien math." Lena stayed quiet. After a moment, Bren turned around. "You know this isn't Earth math, right?" She nodded. "It feels different. It doesn't follow the same rules. But it single quotes S. Beautiful, like it knows I can understand it." "Do you have formal education?" "I finished school at 13. After my parents died, I started working. I read books when I can. I like learning." Bren studied her again. Her face was calm, but her eyes sparkled when she spoke of the patterns. "Do you know who I am, Lena?" She nodded. "You're Bren, the one who created the Ares AI. You built the first fusion core for private spacecraft. You own 3 moons," he smiled. "Most people don't mention the moons." She smiled back, just a little. He sat down across from her. Double quotes Lena. "Do you know what this symbol is?" he asked, pointing to one of the drawings. She looked at it. It means reversal of entropy in the star logic. When the number beside it reaches 0, the formula resets itself. Bren was silent. That equation had taken his research team 2 years to decode. Lena had explained it in 10 seconds. "Do you want to learn more?" he asked. She nodded quickly. "Then stop cleaning floors," he said. "You're coming to my lab tomorrow." Lena stared at him. "Sir?" "You have a gift, Lena. Something even my best scientists don't have. You can see what others can't. I want to know why. And I want to help you grow." She held the holopad close. "You mean—" "I'll be allowed?" "Not allowed. Invited." For the first time, Lena smiled fully. Not a small smile, but one of surprise and hope. "Thank you," she said quietly. That night after Lena left, Bren sat alone in his study. The screen still showed the strange symbols. He opened a private file. A secret 1 dot. It was a message from deep space. One his team had found 6 years ago, unsolved, unknown. But tonight, he noticed something. The same patterns Lena had drawn appeared in the message. Exactly the same dot. Bren leaned back in his chair. "Who are you really, Lena?" he whispered to himself. Outside the window, the stars shined a little brighter. The next morning, the sky over the hills was bright and clear. The mansion looked peaceful from the outside, but inside, something unusual was happening. Lena stood quietly in the elevator, dressed in clean clothes Bren had sent for her. No uniform, no cleaning gloves, just a plain white shirt and black trousers. Her fingers were tightly wrapped around the old holopad. Her eyes showed nervous excitement. When the elevator doors opened, she stepped into a large room she had never seen before. This wasn't the mansion, it was below the mansion. A hidden floor. The air smelled of cold metal and electricity. Lights hummed gently overhead. Bren stood near a glowing glass table. Around him were 3 other people, an older man with gray hair and glasses, a woman with sharp eyes, and a young man tapping on a console. "Lena," Bren said, "welcome to the core lab." She looked around with wide eyes. The walls were lined with machines, scanners, and floating data maps. One display showed a large object in space spinning slowly. "These are my best scientists," Bren said. "This is Dr. Iman, Dr. Zale, and Mark." They nodded at her, but didn't look too friendly. Bren continued, "I told them what you did last night. They didn't believe me, so I brought you here to show them yourself." Dr. Iman folded his arms. "You're saying this girl solved part of the alien logic sequence?" "Not just solved," Bren said. "She explained it better than we ever could." Lena looked unsure. "I didn't mean to. It's okay," Bren said softly. "Just show them what you showed me." He gave her a chair near the center table. The holopad was connected to the system. When she placed it down, the symbols lit up and appeared on the main screen. Dr. Zale raised her eyebrows. "She labeled these?" "Yes," Bren replied. Lena pointed. "This symbol here changes based on the number of loops. It resets when the loop reaches 0, but if you reverse it like this, it starts a second pattern. That one leads to a stable shape." She touched the screen. The shape changed. A new symbol appeared, one no one in the lab had seen before. Room went silent. Mark stared at it. That's a level 2 pattern. We've never unlocked one past level 1. Lena looked confused. "I thought that was normal." Double quotes. Dr. Iman stepped forward. "Where did you learn this?" "Who taught you?" "No one," Lena said. "I just practiced. I like solving things that don't make sense." Dr. Zale walked closer. "Do you know what this means?" Lena shook her head. Bren answered for her. "It means she just did what this team failed to do in 5 years." For the next few hours, Lena sat with the scientists. At first, they doubted her. They asked tough questions, gave her confusing patterns, and tested her with logic puzzles. She solved them all. Sometimes she didn't know the names of things. She said swirl instead of rotation curve and light dots instead of data points, but her answers were correct. Her mind worked differently, but better. Soon, even Dr. Iman leaned in with interest. Dr. Zale smiled for the first time. Mark kept whispering, "How is this possible?" By the end of the day, Lena had not only solved 3 advanced logic gates, she had found a shortcut that the team didn't know existed. When the others left the lab, Bren stayed behind with her. He brought her a cup of tea and sat beside her. "We're amazing today," he said. Lena looked at her hands. "I didn't think I would be allowed to speak like that." "You should speak like that more often," Bren said. "You're not a maid anymore. From now on, you're part of my personal team." Her eyes widened. "Really? Really?" She looked down. "I don't have a degree. I don't know big science words." "What if I mess up?" Bren smiled. "Do. You know what I had when I started building space engines?" She shook her head. "Nothing. No degree. No labs. Just a broken garage and a mind that couldn't stop asking questions." Lena smiled slightly. "You don't need big words," he said. "You need your curiosity. And I see that in you." Lena looked up. "Thank you. I'll work hard." That night, Lena didn't go back to the maid's room. Bren gave her a guest room near the lab, clean, quiet, with a window that showed the stars. She sat at the desk with a blank page and started drawing again. Symbols, shapes, paths of logic that connected and spun. The patterns flowed from her like music. Then something strange happened. One of the shapes began to glow, not on paper, but in her mind. A soft hum rang in her ears. Not loud, just enough to feel like a whisper. She touched the hollow pad. It blinked and then something new appeared, a message, one line, written in the same alien symbols. She translated it slowly. "The signal is close. Keep listening." She sat back, eyes wide. Who had sent that? Was it the machine or something else? Outside her window, the stars didn't seem so far anymore. The next morning, Bren arrived at the core lab early. He expected to find the place empty, but as soon as the door opened, he heard soft humming and saw a faint blue light near the control table. Lena was already there. She sat cross-legged on the floor, holopad floating beside her. Symbols danced in the air, forming shapes and waves. But something was different. The shapes looked more organized, like they were talking to each other. "Lena?" he said, stepping closer. She looked up quickly, surprised but calm. "Good morning." "Sir, you're here early." "I couldn't sleep," she said. "I kept seeing the patterns. They weren't just logic, they were messages." Bren sat beside her. "Messages?" Lena nodded. "Last night, I solved the loop. When I did, the pad lit up and showed me this." She touched the screen, and a strange symbol appeared. It pulsed gently. "What does it mean?" Bren asked. "I translated it," she said. It said, "The signal is close. Keep listening." Bren stared at the screen. He remembered something. Years ago, his research team had activated a small alien device found near Jupiter's orbit. The device had given off a brief pulse before shutting down. They had recorded everything, but no one could understand the final message. He rushed to his console, opened the old file, and brought up the alien signal. The screen displayed it, an audio waveform mixed with symbols. Lena leaned forward, eyes focused. "That symbol," she whispered, pointing at the screen. "It's the same. It matches the one from last night." "You're sure?" "Yes. This isn't just a puzzle. It's a conversation." Later that day, Bren called a private meeting. Only Dr. Iman, Dr. Zale, and Mark were present. The room was quiet as the symbols glowed on the screen. "This is the message our team picked up 5 years ago," Bren said. "And this," he pointed to Lena's holopad, "is the reply." Dr. Iman looked shocked. "You mean to say the message answered us?" "Not us," Bren said. "Her. It responded when she cracked the second logic gate. Something inside the device activated. Mark frowned. But the alien tech we found was dead. No power, no response. Lena spoke softly. It wasn't dead. It was waiting. Doctor. Zale nodded slowly. This changes everything. Bren stood. That's why I called you all. From today onward, Project Horizon is shifting focus. We're no longer just decoding. We're communicating. Mark asked, how do we begin? We begin with Lena, Bren said. She has a natural connection to the patterns. She lead. The study on signal behavior. Lena looked surprised. Me? Yes, he said firmly. You're not a maid anymore. You're part of this team, officially. Dr. Iman raised an eyebrow. With respect, she has no degree, no training. But she has results, Bren said. She solved what we couldn't. We follow talent, not titles. Lena nodded quietly. She understood now this was no longer just about cleaning rooms or solving puzzles. This was about something far bigger. Days passed. Lena now worked full-time. In the lab, she had her own desk, her own tools, and her own tasks. At first, the team gave her small jobs. But every time, she went beyond what was asked. She created new logic maps, designed faster decoding paths, and even found a way to predict the next symbol in the alien sequence. Dr. Iman started bringing her his hardest problems. Dr. Zale taught her how to use the core scanner. Mark asked her for help with decoding a damaged signal. She was no longer a helper. She was the one they went to. One evening, while reviewing data, Lena found something strange. Two signals had arrived back to back, just minutes apart. The first was clean, just like the others. But the second, it was broken, twisted, like someone tried to hide it. She worked quietly, trying to fix it. After hours of decoding, a single line appeared. Warning, you are seen. Do not trust the watchers. She froze. This message wasn't like the others. It had no math, no pattern. Just fear. Who sent it? And who were the watchers? That night, she told Bren everything. He listened carefully, eyes serious. I think someone else is listening, Lena said. Maybe something dangerous. Are you sure? Yes, the signal was hidden inside the other one, like a shadow. Bren leaned back in his chair. If that's true, we're not alone in this communication. Someone or something else is watching. What do we do? He looked out the window. The stars were silent, but they suddenly felt closer and colder. We move carefully, he said. From now on, we watch every signal, every pattern, no more guessing. Lena nodded. Okay. And Lena, he added, from now on, everything you do here is top secret. No one outside this lab hears a word. She understood. This wasn't just discovery anymore. It was a risk. Next day, Bren made an announcement. Lena was officially named a lead researcher in the lab. She received access to private files, tools, and even her own security code. He also gave her a gift, a brand new holopad designed just for her, connected to the main system. It had higher memory, deeper scannability, and a smooth white surface with a glowing blue edge. This is yours now, he said. No more old tools. You deserve the best. Lena held it with both hands. Thank you. You earned it. That night, as the lab lights dimmed, Lena sat alone again. The stars blinked through the window. She placed the new holopad on the table. It lit up. Soft and bright. She drew the first pattern, then another. Suddenly the screen pulsed. A new message appeared. 3 lines this time. You are awake. We have waited. Prepare for contact. Lena stared at it. Her heart beat faster. Something or someone was coming, and it was coming for her. Lena stood at the edge of the ship's window, eyes wide, heart steady. In front of her, the alien ship floated like a giant in space. Its surface was smooth and black like obsidian, quiet and calm. The glowing circle pulsed slowly, like it was breathing. Bren stood beside her. "The bridge is open," he said softly. "They're letting us in." Lena nodded, gripping the edge of the console. "I feel like I've been here before, even though I haven't." The two pilots looked back at them. "We're aligned with the light beam, ready to move forward." Bren looked at Lena. "Your call." She took a deep breath and said, "Let's go." The Horizon 1 drifted slowly toward the alien ship. As it got closer, the blue light wrapped around it gently, guiding it like a hand. A round door appeared on the alien ship's surface, smooth and silent. It opened without a sound. Inside was complete darkness. For a moment, everyone held their breath. Then lights flickered on dim, white lines that formed a path inside. The ship had welcomed them. "Prepare for entry," Bren said. He and Lena put on light suits for safety. The pilots stayed back to monitor the systems. Bren and Lena stepped into the docking tube and walked into the alien ship. The air inside was cool, with a faint hum like distant music. The floor was solid but soft under their feet, like it responded to their steps. No creatures, no machines. Just silence. Lena turned to Bren. "It doesn't feel empty." "I know," he said. "It feels like something is watching, but not in a bad way." As they followed the glowing path, the walls began to shift. Symbols lit up. Familiar ones. The same ones Lena had drawn months ago in the mansion. The ship was speaking through symbols. One large door stood ahead, brighter than the others. When Lena touched it, it slid open smoothly. Inside was a wide circular chamber with a high ceiling. In the center floated a glowing cube, slowly spinning. It looked ancient and alive. Lena stepped forward. The cube reacted, sending gentle waves of light into the air. A voice echoed, not loud, but deep and soft, like wind through trees. "Seed recognized." "Memory unlocked." Lena stopped. "Seed?" The cube glowed again and opened a panel of light. A projection appeared in the center of the room. It showed a star system. "Not Earth's." A voice continued. "Long ago, our people searched for minds that could learn, grow, and adapt. We planted knowledge across many worlds, but few were ready. Few understood." The star system zoomed out, showing galaxies, then tiny light dots traveling through them. On Earth, we left fragments. Only the worthy would see. Only the awakened would hear. Bren stared. "Are they saying Lena was chosen?" Lena was silent, eyes focused on the lights. A new screen opened. A SIA file. It was filled with symbols, images, and lines that moved like rivers. The cube spoke again. "This is the origin file. It holds the truth of your link. You are more than human." "You are part of our code," Lena gasped. "Part of what?" The projection zoomed in on a DNA strand. Parts of it were marked with symbols that matched the alien language. Bren stepped closer. "It's showing your genetic code. And theirs. It's connected." Lena shook her head, confused. "I was born on Earth. I had parents. I lived a normal life." The cube answered. "Yes, but your mind was shaped differently. Your thoughts follow paths few can see. You carry the spark. You are a seeded one." Bren whispered. "They didn't just send tools to Earth. They sent potential. In people." The file continued to open, showing Earth's past flashes of ancient humans finding strange devices, symbols carved into stones, signals in the sky. They had been there before. Watching, waiting, planting seeds of knowledge. Lena turned to Bren, tears in her eyes. "All my life, I thought I was just strange, different. I didn't belong anywhere." Bren placed a hand on her shoulder. "You were always more, Lena. You just didn't know it yet." Suddenly, the cube changed color. A red pulse moved through the room. A warning. Unknown signal detected. Pattern corrupted. "Watchers are listening." Lena turned sharply. The Message I saw before the warning. It's happening again. Bren looked at the projection. A shadowy shape formed in the light, a blurred structure, moving fast through space. Its signal didn't match the soft, peaceful symbols of the ship. It was sharp, broken, and cold. Dr. Zale had called them the Watchers. Bren asked, "Are they dangerous?" The cube pulsed. "They do not seek peace. They follow the signals. They erase what they cannot control." Lena clenched her fists. "They're coming here." "Yes," the cube replied. "They followed your awakening. Time is short." The file closed slowly, but one last message appeared. "You have the gift. Share it. Prepare others. Your world is not ready, but it must be." Then the lights dimmed, and the room grew quiet again. Back on Horizon 1, the pilots welcomed Bren and Lena with worried looks. "What happened in there?" One asked. Bren simply said, "Everything changed." Lena sat down in silence. Her mind was full images, messages, symbols, feelings. But in her heart, she felt stronger. She now knew who she was, and she knew her purpose. They had to return to Earth, not to hide, but to teach. To prepare. The ship began its journey back home. As stars passed by, Lena sat near the window. She opened her new holopad and began drawing again, this time, not just symbols, but instructions. She wasn't just a girl with a gift now. She was a bridge between two worlds, the seated one, and her work had just begun. The Horizon 1 moved silently through space, returning home. Earth grew larger in the window as the stars faded into the black. Inside the ship, Lena sat with her eyes closed, trying to calm her thoughts. Too much had changed. She was no longer just a maid. She wasn't just smart, she was chosen. A seated 1. Bren watched her from across the room. He saw the weight in her eyes, the responsibility, the fear, and the courage. "You okay?" he asked gently. Lena opened her eyes and gave a small nod. "I'm ready, but I don't think the world is." He smiled. "Then we'll help them, together." When they landed back on Earth, everything had changed. The alien ship near Neptune was now fully visible to Earth's satellites. Governments tried to hide the truth, but people saw it. They asked questions. They feared what was coming. Some believed it was the end of the world. Others believed it was the beginning of something greater. Bren met with world leaders in secret. He told them the truth about Lena, about the alien message, and about the Watchers. Most didn't believe him until Lena showed them what she had learned. She solved equations faster than supercomputers. She translated signals no one else could read. She showed the alien ship's message word for word. The world listened, but fear still remained. 1 week after their return, Lena was invited to speak at a global science summit. Leaders, scientists, and thinkers from all over the world gathered to hear her story. She stood on stage, wearing a simple white suit, holding her holopad in one hand. She looked nervous, but her voice was steady. "I'm not a scientist," she began. "I didn't go to any big school. I used to clean floors. I used to wonder why I felt different, why the world felt strange to me." She paused, then added, "Now I know. I was meant to see what others couldn't." She showed the symbols, the translations, the messages from the alien ship. She shared the warning about the Watchers. "They follow the signal," she said. "They erase what they can't control. We must be ready, not with weapons, but with knowledge, with unity. If we divide, we fall. But if we learn together, we grow." The room stayed quiet for a long time. Then came the applause. Not slow or forced, but full and real. That night, the world changed. Again. Lena had become more than a girl with a gift. She had become a voice for the future. In the weeks that followed, Bren and Lena worked together to create a new global project, the Starseed program. It wasn't just about decoding signals anymore. It was about preparing minds young and old for what was coming. Lena designed learning paths based on alien logic, mixed with human creativity. People across the world joined. Poor children with no schools were given devices to learn. Elder scientists humbled themselves to learn from Lena's notes. People stopped fighting each other and started building something new. But not everyone was happy. Some feared Lena's power. Some believed she was dangerous. And far away, something else was still watching. Late one night, as Lena worked alone in the lab, her holopad blinked. A new signal. She opened it slowly. It wasn't like the others. The shapes were sharp, cold, broken. Watcher signal detected. Location, solar edge. Time to arrival, 72 hours. Lena froze. 3 days. She ran to Bren's room and knocked. He opened the door. Already awake. "I saw it," he said. "It's real." "They're coming," Lena said, "and soon." Bren nodded. "Then we finish what we started." The next day, the world was alerted. The Starseed program issued a full global message. An unknown force is approaching Earth. We don't know what it wants, but we know how to stand united. Governments moved fast. Space programs worked together for the first time in history. Satellites aligned. Observatories shared data, but most importantly, people listened to Lena. She taught them how to read the patterns of the Watchers' signals. She explained how to protect digital systems from disruption. She helped design shields, not for weapons, but for knowledge. She said, "They attack confusion. So we must stay clear, calm, and connected." Bren looked at her and said, "You were never meant to fight with fists. Your mind is the defense." On the final night before the Watcher's arrival, Lena sat by the sea. The sky was full of stars. The waves were quiet. Bren joined her, carrying 2 mugs of tea. "It's strange," she said, "how fast things changed." "You changed them," he said. "Not with force, but with truth. Do you think we're ready?" She asked. "No," Bren replied, "but I think we're not alone anymore." Lena smiled. "Do you remember when I found you in that hallway late at night?" Bren asked. "I do," she said. "I thought you were going to fire me." "I almost did," he joked, "but I'm glad I didn't." "Me too," she whispered. They sat together in silence, watching the stars above them, hidden from normal eyes. The Watchers came closer, but this time, Earth was watching back. The night was calm. The stars shone brightly above, but deep in space, something moved closer to Earth. The Watchers had arrived. Inside the core lab, Lena stood at the center. Screens around her showed data streams from satellites, instruments, and sensors. The entire world watched silently, waiting. Bren stood behind her. He placed a steady hand on her shoulder. "This is it," he said softly. Lena took a deep breath. "We've prepared for this moment. We can face whatever comes." Outside the planet, the Watcher's cloud of energy shimmered. It was like a dark storm, swirling with patterns that confused signals and disrupted communication. But Earth had changed. Thanks to Lena and the Starseed program, people had learned to recognize the Watcher's patterns. They knew how to filter the noise. They connected their systems, their minds, their voices. The Watchers tried to block the signals, but Lena's network grew stronger. It was a web of light in the dark. Suddenly, a new signal broke through. Clear and strong. It was Lena's message. The one the Watchers had been trying to hide. She had sent it earlier, a call for help, a call for peace. From the signal came an answer, a new voice, soft, kind, and full of hope. "We have watched. We have waited. We come in peace." The Watcher's cloud slowed. Light began to shine from within it, bright and warm. The darkness lifted. Slowly, shapes formed inside the cloud ships. But unlike anything Earth had seen, they were smooth, shining with colors that shifted like rainbows. Came forward, not with weapons, but with open hands. Lena's heart raced. She realized the Watchers were not enemies. They were guardians. They had tested Earth, watching who would answer their call. Who would be ready? And Earth was ready. Bren spoke to the crowd on the global broadcast. Today, we stand at the edge of a new era. We have faced the unknown and chosen to grow, to learn, and to unite. Lena added, we are not alone. Together, we will build a future where knowledge guides us and peace leads us. In the days that followed, the alien visitors shared their knowledge. They helped humanity repair damaged systems, improve communication, and understand the stars better. Lena worked closely with them, learning, teaching, and building bridges between worlds. The Starseed program became the foundation of a new society, one where curiosity and kindness were the greatest strengths. Years later, Lena stood on a hill once more, looking up at the stars. Children played nearby, learning the alien symbols as easily as their own language. Bren joined her, smiling. You changed the world, he said. We changed it, Lena replied. Together. The morning sun rose over the hills, but deep beneath the mansion, the core lab was glowing with soft blue light. Lena sat at her desk, still staring at the message that had appeared the night before. You are awake. We have waited. Prepare for contact. She didn't sleep. Her thoughts were full of questions. Who had waited for her? What kind of contact were they talking about? And why her? Bren entered the lab quietly. He noticed the tired look on Lena's face. You didn't rest, he said. She shook her head and turned the screen toward him. He read the message slowly, then looked at her. So it's starting, he whispered. You knew something like this would happen. She asked. I hoped it would, he said. We always believed the alien tech was more than tools. We thought it might be a form of communication, but this ... this is the first direct message. He walked to the central table and tapped into the system. A star map appeared in the air, showing distant galaxies and nearby systems. Lena stood beside him. What are you looking for? She asked. The source, he said. If a message was sent, we should find where it came from. He asked the system to track signal direction and time delay. Within seconds, a small red dot blinked near the edge of the solar system. There, he said. It came from just outside Neptune's orbit. That's close, Lena said. Too close, Bren replied. And it means something is there, watching. U.S., Dr. Iman, Dr. Zale, and Mark joined them shortly. Bren showed them the signal origin and Lena's message. This can't be a coincidence, Dr. Zale said. Someone placed that alien tech here on purpose. Dr. Iman added, or someone sent it to find a mind like Lena's. Mark frowned. What does prepare for contact mean? Are they coming? Lena spoke softly. I think they're already here. Everyone turned to her. She pointed to the map. They didn't send a message from far away. They're waiting close. That means they expected someone to answer. Bren nodded. And Lena answered. That evening, a new signal arrived. The lab's warning lights blinked red for the first time in years. Bren and the team rushed to the control panel. Lena followed closely. A strange waveform filled the screen. It pulsed slowly like a heartbeat. The symbols were different this time. More complex, more urgent. Lena stepped forward and began decoding it. This isn't a message, she said. It's a sequence. It's building something. She worked fast, fingers moving quickly across the holoscreen. As she translated the symbols, a shape appeared. A 3D image of a massive object, a spacecraft. The ship was long, dark, and smooth like stone. It had no visible engines, no lights, but it was beautiful, like something from a dream. The signal ended, and a final message blinked on the screen. We are here. We wait for the one who sees. Silence filled the lab. They're here, Bren said, and they want me. Lena whispered. Over the next 2 days, chaos spread across Earth. Satellites picked up an object entering the outer solar system. News channels called it the ghost ship. It didn't send any message. It didn't show any threat. But it was real and coming closer. Governments across the world tried to hide it, but the truth leaked. Panic followed. Bren, however, stayed calm. He held a private meeting in the lab. "We need to go up there," he said. This ship didn't come by chance. It answered Lena's message. Dr. Zale hesitated. "It could be dangerous." Dr. Iman agreed. "We're not ready. We don't know what's inside." Mark asked Lena, "Do you want to go?" She paused. "I don't know what's up there," she said, "but I feel like I'm supposed to see it." The messages, they were meant for me. "I'm not afraid," Bren smiled. "Then we go." Bren owned a private spacecraft, the Horizon 1, a fast, silent ship made for deep space travel. He had never used it for anything outside testing. Now it had a purpose. Within 48 hours, the ship was ready. A small crew was prepared. Bren, Lena, and 2 trusted pilots. No soldiers, no weapons. Only a translator, data tools, and trust.as. They prepared to leave. Lena stood outside the launch deck, looking at the stars. Bren walked up beside her. "Are you sure?" he asked. "Yes," she replied. "It feels like I've been walking toward this moment my whole life. I just didn't know it." "You were born to do more, Lena," Bren said. "I saw it the first night you solved that pattern." She turned to him and smiled. "You didn't just change my life," she said. "You gave me one." The Horizon 1 launched silently into the sky. As Earth watched in fear and wonder, the small silver ship vanished into the blackness of space. Hours passed. Lena sat by the main window, watching stars streak past. She closed her eyes and let the feeling wash over her. Somewhere out there, someone or something was waiting for her. Suddenly, the ship's I spoke. Object detected. Distance, 12,000 kilometers. They had arrived. The alien ship appeared ahead, massive, silent, floating in the darkness like a sleeping giant. It looked just like the 3D image from the signal. Black stone, no engines, no lights. Only a small, glowing circle near the center. Bren stood beside Lena. "Ready?" he asked. She nodded. The Horizon 1 slowly approached. As they came closer, the glowing circle grew brighter. Then, a beam of soft blue light shot out from the alien ship and touched Horizon 1. A message flashed on every screen. "Welcome. The bridge is open," Lena whispered. "They've been waiting for me."